Honor Tuesday night. We are here with my co-host at Swiss Army Sean and the lovely, I'm trying to pull her up on your screen, Jessica Lindsey. I am so excited to have her. She is not only John Robb's assistant, she has been in the business for ever, as long as I've known her. And she's a true lover of the horse, which is the real reason why I asked her to join us tonight. So thank you, Jessica. How are you tonight?
Oh, great.
She's a little nervous, so everybody show her some love in the comments, you guys. I told her she's going to be just fine with us. So Jess, just take us right from the beginning. What brought you to the track? How did you end up in the industry to begin with?
You want the truth? It was an accident. I did show horses growing up, middle school, high school, and ended up, one of the girls I did show horses with also broke babies for a friend of ours that ended up, she just said, come out to this farm. I need somebody to get on these horses with me. It was a big open field and it was just a group situation. We just kind of jogged and galloped around the field. And she said, oh, they're race horses. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, I didn't know any different. And when it was time for them to go to the races, they were actually going to Colonial. And the people that owned them said, hey, listen, you know these horses. Will you come to Colonial with us and just be the first one to take them around the track? And, you know, because you know them, and then we'll take it from there. And it was all downhill from there.
You never left, huh?
Oh, God. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the way my parents look at it. I can tell you that much.
So the first outfit that you ended up at the track with, are they still relevant in racing today or no?
No, they were just local people from Virginia, just kind of, I guess, dipping their toes in the water. They had been in it a little while and just kind of real small family operation. They had like 6 horses and then they ended up with an owner. I think we maybe had 10 at Colonial, and they're living in New York. I mean, we're still in contact. We're still friends, but she's a nurse. And Tom is just like a Mr. Fix-It. He just kind of does everything, but they're not in it anymore. But I mean, it's definitely a good stepping stone because it was just a lot of fun. It was, you know, of course we wanted to win races. I don't know. We didn't win a lot, but I mean, it was just a good time. Right. It was just a good time.
Yeah. So then, okay, so you got sucked in, you fell in love with the thoroughbred, you fell in love with the horse, and then take us down your road. You continued just exercise riding. Walk us through a little bit of your path that led you where you are now.
I kind of just played at Colonial. Colonial was, I went to school in Virginia and I still did show horses and bebopped around. And while I was at Colonial, I met Stephanie Nixon, and I ended up kind of helping her every summer at Colonial. And then, you know, you would work for one person and then you just kind of freelance and move your way around. And I was galloping some, and then I ended up hot walking for Ferris Allen, and I was working in the test barn. Like I did everything. I literally just did everything that there was to do. I worked in the test barn. I hot walked, I galloped, I did it all. And a friend of mine, I ended up making friends with, you know, Louis, Gio, Garcia, Hosbin, Eric, you know, the whole old school Maryland bunch. And it was after like my 3rd year at Colonial. They were like, why don't you come to Maryland? And I was like, I don't know. I don't really want to. And I did.
You know, I have to tell you, it's so funny you bring them up. I cut you off there because I just did a podcast where I brought up one of them from the original crew, Christian Olmo, who they come up, they must have the best ideas because they came to you and said, why don't you? And it was Christian that came to me and said, why don't you be an agent? So, you know,
right.
Kudos to
Christian,
them.
Christian helps me in the morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's still in the bunch. He helps me in the morning. Him and Xavier are still pretty tight.
It was him that gave me the grand idea to stop working in 0-degree weather. He was like, you know, everybody, come hustle my book. I was like, okay, you know,
right.
And wrote. So that's so funny that they were the ones that kind of told you, you know, hey.
Yeah, I wish they hadn't.
So where you're at now, you're with John Robb. We know that you have been doing incredible things over there. I also know that you're still ponying, right? You have some of the no ponying, only special events.
No, I don't pony at all anymore. Actually,
no more beautiful decorated ponies for the TV.
No.
Oh, Jessica used to. I mean, I would literally take my phone and like send her snaps of like My daughter in love with your horse all decorated. So okay, so you're all on the ground now. All right. So
Yep. No, I'm all Team Rob. That's it.
okay. So how's the change? Are you liking being off and more on the ground, or is that
I do. And I mean, I miss ponying on like Preakness Day and stuff like that because it was a lot of fun to dress up the pony. And a lot of people, I mean, they loved it. They loved it. There were people that would tell me at the Preakness, "Oh, we just come to see your pony." Like, and it's great. It's when you spend a lot of time, to make sure your pony looks the best out there and people acknowledge it. It's a lot of fun. But at this point, I want to be acknowledged more because I got the fastest horse in the winter circle. That's a little bit more fun.
I love that. Sean, how are you tonight?
I'm great. So let's get into that a little bit. So you're assistant trainer to John Robb. So what did your schedule look like, and what are your jobs being the assistant?
I do all the things. I mean, I'm there first thing in the morning, and I'm there till we're done. You name it, I do it. Obviously whatever Jerry tells me to do, I do it. He is the boss. I am the enforcer. That's kind of the way I look at it. I'm there first thing in the morning. I get my eyes on all the horses, make sure that, everybody's good to go and good to go out and train, and watch them train, send them out, talk to the riders. We talk to Jerry, and just kind of make just kind of my job to just make sure the ship runs smoothly. And
do you travel as well?
Yep. Wherever he tells me to go, I go. But yeah, I mean, when we go, I'm not going to lie. If I can weasel out of Charlestown, I do. But no, I mean, like we've had strings at Delaware before, and he sent me to Delaware if I need to go, but he's pretty fair about it. Like if he's going to go, he doesn't make me go, we don't all have to travel as a group unless like we want to, like when we all went to Colonial as a group with the horses and the stakes, because it's fun and it's an escape. And it's a lot of fun to win races, but it's a lot more fun to win when everybody's there,
And you've had some stellar wins with Rob. I mean, the experience that you've had just with him alone is kind of top tier. Just going down his list here: Little Bull John, Anna's Bandit, Philly Dea Spirit, Street Loot, Lightning Paces, Pulverizing. I mean, these are horses that some people, the types of horses that you get to be around, I mean, what a blessing. Some people never get to see such things. So you've got to experience some really cool moments. And he's taking you on that ride, and they seem like such a kind of family oriented team. They seem like they've really taken you in as one of their own.
Yeah, we live like a family and we fight like a family, but that's what makes it the best. It really does. Because when you win, it means so much more. Gina's at the farm with these brood mares, and she's there from start to finish. They pick the stallions, they breed the mares. She does all the things. Her and Jerry are there when they foal. Obviously, me and Xavier are out there quick, fast, in a hurry to play with them. But it's a whole nother feeling when you win with a horse that literally you've been there with from the get-go. And I've been so lucky that Jerry and Gina, even before I worked for them, let me be a part of that whole show.
How cool is that? And so like, take us on the experience, like Anna's Bandit. I mean, from baby to winter circle to mama to her new baby. Like, I mean, what, I've got goosebumps, literal goosebumps, because tell us about that. I mean, wow.
There's no words for her. I mean, she's just absolutely amazing. I didn't know her as a foal. She was Jerry bred. That's Jerry's child. I mean, he lives for that mare and always has. I mean, I don't know if you ever watched any of his interviews with her, but he can't talk about Anna without his voice cracks. She's very, very special to him, and she should be. I mean, I was an Anna fan before I ever worked for Anna. And it was Anna's world and I just lived in it. And it was a heck of a ride. I mean, she is something else. That mare won. And, when he won the race in Charlestown and wheeled her back in less than 7 days in the Maryland Million, and she airplaned in there. I mean, she's just, Jerry knew her. I shouldn't say knew her. She's not dead. Knows her like the back of his hand. And he campaigned her to a T. And I was so lucky to be in the last couple races, and I got to go over with her for her retirement ceremony in Maryland. And I mean, she's just, I don't know, she is just what dreams are made of. She is amazing.
I can't imagine to be a part of that, because it was chilling to watch. I mean, there's some horses, just as a horse racing fan, that you get excited when you see them coming into Charlestown, or when they're going to run a big race, you watch. And she was one of those. She definitely had some fans, and I think she definitely grabbed a lot of people's attention. And then we saw her on a bag of feed, so that was really cool. It was like, oh my God, she's gone, but she's not gone. She's feeding all these new ones.
Right. Yeah, we have the feed bag here. Gina got me my own. But I mean, but you know what? She deserves it. She deserves all the recognition in the world, because I mean, you don't want to say, excuse my dogs. You don't want to say she's a nothing out of nobody. She's a great notion, and great notions. I mean, in Maryland, I'm such a great notion fan. I mean, how could you not be with her and Filet? And Jerry's got a lot of great notions, and they can all run. But I mean, just for coming from a horse that Jerry kind of picked, the mare, her mama, who is still at the farm, and Jerry is still, still breeds, he picked her up, himself, and just kind of campaigned her, and then turned her into a broodmare. And then, first foals usually aren't the rock stars. They're usually kind of the stepping stone. And I mean, Anna just hit the ground running. And with all the things that she overcame in her life, I mean, from the stories Jerry's told me, she wasn't even supposed to be a racehorse. I mean, she went through some pretty terrible things as a baby.
Right.
And they didn't know she'd ever make it to the races. And I mean, not only did she make it to the races, but I mean, are you kidding me? Like, everything she did, and she just did it with ease, and is such a queen in the barn. Like, no drama, no nothing. I mean, I don't know if you ever saw videos of Xavier on her, but she would stand forever. She owned that racetrack. She would stand out there at Laurel. Survey her property. When Laurel shut down to be resurfaced, and we all had to divvy out, and Jerry sent me to Delaware, I had Anna at Delaware, and she did the same thing. She rolled in there like she owned the place, walked right up on the track and parked it, and was like, "Hey, y'all, the queen's here."
Yep.
And that's just how she's been her whole life. She's even like it at the farm. We walk into the farm, and she looks at me and Xavier like, "What'd you bring me? Nice of you to join us." But she's amazing. She does everything right, and she always has. I mean, this foal she has is fantastic. He's wonderful, and she's so proud of him. I mean, so proud of him. It's just, it's a really awesome experience to be a part of. She's
go ahead. Sorry,
she's in Kentucky right now. She's being rebred. I think Frosted. I think she got bred back to Frosted.
Wow.
But it's just one of these things where Jerry and Gina just, they're shooting for the stars, and why shouldn't they? I mean, look at everything she did.
And I want to say that it seems like Jerry and Gina have a lot of love going on in their barn, in their shed.
Oh, yeah.
I do not know them personally yet. I've never had the pleasure of meeting them, but I feel like everything I've seen is just a lot of, they really care about their actual horse. And I love
absolutely. That. They're racehorses, but they're kids. They're our kids. Jerry tries to play tough. He tries to play tough and says, "Oh, don't you baby them. Don't you ruin this horse. Don't you do this." But it's like, it's going to happen. Just let it roll.
So that's what I always wondered about, the hard part, and especially with a horse like that, but I'm sure all horses, when you say goodbye to them in like the post parade, how hard is that? And in the back of your mind, you're like, I'm hoping that everything comes back okay.
Well, I don't go into races thinking that way, because I wouldn't be able to do it. Right. I just go out there knowing that we're taking these horses over in tip-top condition, best form, and we're there to get the money, and we hope we do. And if we don't, we'll be back to get it again next time. And the only thing that gets me is the claiming game, and that's Jerry always picks at me, because we'll lose one, and I'll come to the paddock the next race. He's like, "What's that face for? What's that face for?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm fine." But that's the tough part of it. But the saving grace is Jerry and Gina have done pretty well in the breeding game, and we haven't really had to run any of like the hometown kids for a tag. They're pretty, they've all stepped up to the plate enough where like we're safe in that department. I can send out the no guts, no glory kids and be like, win, lose, or draw, they're coming back home.
Yeah.
So did you ever get one where you got a claim back where you're like, I really wanted that horse back, or he really wanted that horse back and you got it back?
He's done it. Yeah, no, Jerry, if he loses a horse and he doesn't want to lose, he'll go back for him. Yeah, I mean, he will. Or, we've had owners that have been like, I love this horse, or I named it after this and named it after that. And Jerry's always like, that's why you don't name horses after your family. It's what you don't do that. But he'll go back and get them. If the owners want him back, he'll go get him. Or if, he thinks it's something he wants to bring back, he will. Or, I mean, Gina and I, Jerry kind of gets mad at us for this, but sometimes when, if they're nearing the end of their career and they're not running well, I'll slide in under the radar and go get one back. And then they just kind of show up at the farm, or, if one doesn't run a good race, I'll go in for the kill. And then all of a sudden they show up at the farm, and Jerry always is like, really, Gina, really? But I mean, we've gotten away with it thus far.
Well, it's very important, and that's something that, I want to touch on, is the proper placement of these horses after their jobs at the track. A lot of aftercare programs are in effect at many racetracks, and horses are still ending up in bad places. You have just recently, you were one of the women who came together with me to help me bail thoroughbred that we found out. We found a group of them, and he was the last one to be saved, and Jessica rallied with me to help get the bail on this horse to get him saved. And this was a horse that was in a kill pen, not a auction. And touch on that, Jessica. Talk about the importance of proper placement after the track, and that there's really no excuse for things like that to be happening at this day and age.
No, there is absolutely no excuse for it. And it's, to put it lightly, it's terrifying. It really is, because it makes it really hard for trainers that, these horses go and they get claimed, and out of fear, you have to follow them, because there's so many good trainers out there. And Gina and Jerry included, when they're done, Jerry will say, find them a home, do what you can. And everything goes with it, a no slaughter contract. And I've probably placed, I'm pulling this out of left field, but I'm going to say 30 horses for Jerry and Gina. And I can tell you where every single one of them are. We get pictures. There was actually one of their homebreds that ended up in a bad spot it was in West Virginia. I don't know if he was in a kill pen or what. Like, we got a phone call, and Gina was like, right now, get him. That's it. And in a matter of 15 minutes, we were on the phone. Horse was out on the way back. He was adopted out. We ended up giving him to one of the Mid-Atlantic Horse Rescue, I think.
Okay, yeah.
They send me pictures of him every month. It's just, there's so many opportunities now that there weren't before, and there are so many people that will help.
Yeah,
there's just no logical reason to dump them anymore. I shouldn't say there was never a logical reason to dump them.
There's no excuse now.
People have help. There is help now, and every state has help. And if trainers need help, there's all these different people that just go around the racetrack and will buy your horse for $500 to $1,000, and they flip them, but they flip them as show horses, and you can follow them. And there's a lot of people that do it. And, sometimes you just got to put forth the effort, and it really doesn't take a lot of effort anymore. It just doesn't. There's so much potential for these horses, and they can do so many things. And like with the RRP now,
yeah,
I mean, people are scrambling for thoroughbreds.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Gina set up a deal with a farm that her daughter was taking lessons at. And they literally took 4 horses out of our barn, and they're all going as a group, as a team, to the RRP.
That's incredible.
And it's literally their farm, and no guts, no glory. And they literally went out of my barn to them.
I love that so much.
And they're all going to the RRP. And there's so many people at this farm that are like, do you have anything else? Do you have anything else? So why would you dump them when there's people literally chomping at the bit that want these thoroughbreds and want to give them the opportunity?
Absolutely. And you know, what really comes down to, in my personal opinion, is if you're in this sport in 2023 and you don't value the life of the animal that is giving you the money, you need to exit.
And get out of it. Right. Just don't be involved. And that's all there is to it.
So let's get to a question real quick from Grandma Horse Racing. She said, do you believe in the filly on filly theory? So like girls for fillies, like do you believe that girls fillies respond better to females versus men?
Okay, well, this is all right. This is gonna sound funny because as me coming up galloping and everything, I hated fillies. I didn't get along with them. I didn't want to gallop them. I didn't want to deal with them. I was colts, geldings all the time. And Anna changed my mind in the filly department. She really did. I do think that some girls get along with some fillies better, but I mean, not to shout him out, but like, look at the relationship Xavier has with Anna.
Yeah. Like,
I love her and she knows it, but she would walk right past me to go to him.
Right.
And it's, you know, I think certain horses fit certain people. Like I have a filly right now in the barn, a Gina bred. And she's a little spicy and she's a little special and we're tight. That's my girl. And I can do things with her that other people really haven't been able to at this point. So like, you know, so in that aspect, yeah, we kind of have a special bond, but in the same mouthful like that, you need a groom, homegirl, like branch out.
Right.
But I think it's all about like, get in where you fit in, you know, stick with the horses you get along with. And you know, we move horses around
with the ones that you don't.
Right. And we, you know, Jerry's pretty good about moving horses around with grooms. If one groom doesn't work with a horse, we move it to another one, you know. We want those horses to look for their grooms in the morning.
I love that.
Girls, boys, whatever.
And that takes care of the other theory. We had somebody comment months ago on our page saying that horses only knew food. They didn't really know the difference between people. But we hear time and time again, that is totally false.
No, 100%. When I walk in the barn, my kids know mom's there. They know, that the peppermints are in the house.
Yeah. I walk out of my house and my horses see me from the porch and they're all like, Mom, you got treats?
Right.
Like they totally know people. Absolutely.
Yeah. They know we work for them.
Lloyd Green said, some people are just so cruel. It's great to hear this issue. And thank you, Jessica, for caring about this issue. And then Grandma Horse Racing says, you can hear the passion in her, a beautiful advocate for the sport.
Thank you.
Then we have Miss Raina. Love your guys' groom, Onyx.
Onyx rubs the big mare, Filet. Onyx is great. Onyx is an aspect to the sport, man. He's something. He's there first thing in the morning, and on a race day, 6 o'clock, 6:30, when I'm finishing up with runners, he's still in there rubbing his horses.
I love that.
And his stepson, Willie, also works for us, and Willie's following right in his shoes. Today I walked in the barn. It was 1:45. He was still in there, radio on, dancing, rubbing his horses, having a good time.
In the blistering.
Yeah, no, Onyx is great.
Walls. Thank God for the barn walls today, because it was rough out there.
Oh, yeah, but no, Onyx rubs he rubs Filet, and he rubs Bandit's Warrior, who's Anna's sister, and he rubs Forget About It, who's Gina's big girl. Yeah, he's got a couple of nice ones in the barn, but he's deserved it. He works hard. He's a great aspect to the barn.
Good help is everything. It's definitely
100%.
A pyramid of building, you know, to get to where you guys want to be.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about this year. Now that Anna's out being a mama, what do you think is going to be the next? Who do you think's coming up to fill those shoes or get close?
Obviously, you're not looking at my stats. Filet has already been there.
I see Filet, but is there anybody new coming up that we haven't really quite seen yet that you think is going to be a superstar?
No, I mean, Filet's right there. She's awesome. She's a tank. She is a force to be reckoned with. And I mean, Jerry has just done phenomenal things with her. I mean, he claimed her for $10,000 and made almost $500,000 last year. Like, let's get serious here. Not to toot our own horn, but she was Maryland Horse of the Year. Like, she's a lot of fun. Jerry claimed her because she was the same line breeding as Anna. So for the fact that like when Anna stepped out, Filet stepped right in. And I mean, didn't miss a beat. She's pretty amazing. And I mean, we've got Street Loot, got Princess Kokachin. Like I said, Gina's mare, forget about it, just won her 3rd race in a row. She's stepped up.
You have a barn of like super horses for sure.
We do. I mean, we're so lucky right now. We just have a barn full of runners. The 2-year-olds are coming in. We've got a couple 2-year-olds in there. I've got a couple Gina breds. We've got.
So tell us about the 2-year-olds. Tell us the 2-year-olds' names. Sean, you're gonna love this.
I have 3 for a particular owner, and the first word in their name is Buckin. So.
Trying to mess up the announcers.
Bingo. I think that's where we're going. But yeah, we got a couple of bucking children coming up. So when I'm assuming they'll probably hit the ground, I'm gonna guess Pimlico. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll be a Laurel, April, May. So yeah, just keep your eye out for the bucking horses because those are ours.
Hopefully they're not literal. Hopefully that's not in the literal sense, Let's see.
And I've got Anna's brother just came in. That's Bandit's Golden Child is his name. We call him Lorenzo. That's Gina's son. And Forget About It sister is Remember Me, named after Moochie. I don't know if you remember her, but she was pretty special to me. Mm-hmm. So we had Moochie and we had Forget About It. So I've dubbed her sister Foochie. So keep your eye out for the Fooch. I think the Fooch is going to do big things. That's just because I'm partial, though.
That's always something I wonder too. Now you're around them all the time through the barn and stuff. Are you pretty good at guessing when you have something special versus somebody like this horse ain't? Nope. Not
no idea. I love them all, and I get so ridiculously attached. Like I'll get hyped on one, when they start laying down good work. So like when Xavier really gets excited, Jerry tries to keep himself contained. But like when he watches the horses work in the morning, if he's excited about something, he'll get out of the car. So if you see Jerry get out of the car, we're en route to something.
That's great.
The best thing you can do is just watch Jerry. If he hops out of the Lexus, something's good's going on.
So I want to get to this question from Grandma Horse Racing here. When talking mental health, can a horse sense if the rider is having a negative feeling? Sorry if I'm not wording it right.
Oh no, absolutely. Horses they're very emotional animals. And I've had days where I have horses in the barn that are very difficult. And when I come in there, if I'm just not feeling it, if I've had a bad day, or like, I hate to use this as an example, but the day after my dog died, I came in the barn and I was just defeated. I was just sad and quiet. And I can tell you that not one of my horses put a foot in the wrong direction that day. They were all soldiers. They were like, just don't mess with mom today. She can't handle it. Me and Xavier were having a rough morning, and I mean, everybody was just good as gold. They know. Yeah. It's the same thing. You'll watch, if you go down to the rail and you watch and you'll have an aggressive rider, the horses will get aggressive. They're fight or flight animals, and they will defend themselves the best way they can. But
absolutely,
when you have your own horses in the barn and they see you every day and they know you and they I know their person, and I'm the same way with them. I know when they're having an off day. When I have certain horses that are always in the front of the stall and they're not, that doesn't necessarily mean they're sick. They might just be having a bad day. We all have bad days.
And I love that. And you know what? Exactly what you just said. For animals and children, I feel like more people need to, for real though, like it's only acceptable for adults to have an off or bad day. But there's so many similarities in mammals or a horse to humans. And I agree. Horses can have off days, so can kids. Give them a break.
How's that closet working out for you, Julie?
Shut up. I was hiding in the closet this morning. To call me out. I was on the phone with her. My kids are home from school, and she's making me sweat right now. I had to go through 2 doors to get away from my kids screaming, and I was like, I'm in the closet. And she said, what? And I said, don't you hear how peaceful it is? And it was silent. And I said, listen. And she said, that's why I have dogs. I said, they just terrorize me until dad gets home. So to talk without sounding like I have coyotes howling, I gotta hide. And if you're a mom and you're watching this, you know.
You're welcome.
You bucker. I can't. So, you've been through it all. You've done it all. You've galloped, you've ponied, you have people laughing. You see, I got a mom laughing here right now. She totally gets it. Oh, yep.
You've been in the closet.
Totally
It's okay.
understand. Yep.
You're welcome.
Sometimes you gotta hide for your sanity these days. Do whatever it takes. But you've done a little bit of it all. Is there anything you would say aside from working for Gina and Rob, because we know that they're top tier and you love them? What was your favorite job on the backside that you did?
I'd have to say this. I mean, I really do, because I love galloping. I do. And I love ponying, but there's just no feeling in the world than watching your own kids, hit the wire first when you deal with them all day. I mean, when you're there in and out all day through everything, especially, these babies that come in from the farm and they come up from 2-year-olds. And I've been there with them every step of the way, from teaching them how to pony to getting their gate cards, just to everything, just goofy baby stuff. But when they jump up and win for you, I mean, it's the ultimate feeling. It really is. And I just, Gina and Jerry have kind of allowed me to love them like they're mine. And I refer to it like Gina always says, she's like, they're mine at the farm, they're Jessica's at the barn. Like, and she gives me that. She knows that I love them just as much as she does. And, I can't tell you how many pictures we have in the winner's circle where we're both sobbing. And it's been maiden wins. It's been claiming 10. It doesn't matter. It's just, it's the best feeling in the world.
Oh my God, the love that, more people need that. The passion, the excitement for the horse, I'm proud of my horse, instead of just looking at it as a money thing, and there are good guys and there are horse lovers, but we need more. And, that was my real point of bringing you on and getting you on was, I just love your love for the horse, and
without them, we have nothing. I mean, there is no game without them. I mean, and that's all there is to it. And I know that, it's a big betting aspect and there's a lot of money involved, but there is no money without them. And that's all there is to it. And, happy horses run harder, and that's all there is to it. I mean, our horses win and they come back to the winner's circle. They know what they've done. They're proud of themselves.
For sure. Because
we've had horses, they run second, and I've watched Xavier when he pulls up, they're trying to go to the winner's circle. They're like, what do you mean? I belong over there. Why am I not getting my picture taken? Anna was like that. If Anna would get beat, she wore it and she knew it, and she'd go back to the barn. I mean, she wore it. And Filet's kind of like that. They know. I mean,
they definitely know.
Is that a Philly thing? Because that seems to be a popular thing, that Phillies really need confidence, that they can get hurt with their confidence.
Phillies are a little more emotional than the boys. You know what I mean? Like if the boys get sad, you throw a couple carrots in their feed tub and they're like, okay, thanks, but
it's basically like humans. I mean,
right. These girls, I swear they wear their heart on their sleeve. The boys, you can kind of convince them otherwise sometimes. But I mean, like that, I mean, I never knew Little Bull John, but I mean, Jerry did immaculate things with that horse. And I'm sure that he was the type of horse too, that he knew when he got beat. I mean, look at the record on that horse. Like,
yeah. He's still his top earner today. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. That's what, like, Xavier always pulls it up and, looking at Filet and Anna and this and that. And he always looks at Little Bull John. And I'm like, no, second's fine. It's still a house horse. Second's fine. It's okay.
So talk about Xavier and the dynamic there, when he, because you guys are so passionate and so in love with the animals. I mean, how does that transition at home if maybe the race doesn't go how you all thought it would for him?
It gets sketchy. Things get a little heated here sometimes. And that's the worst part. You try not to bring your work home, but sometimes you can't. And sometimes things don't always go to plan. And
if you take it, if you care, right?
Well, right. And, it's just, we've kind of learned that sometimes it's better just to leave each other alone, because I won't back down and neither will he. And then we'll just, it gets tough, but it's good and it's bad, because if we weren't angry, we wouldn't care,
Absolutely. And so, I think too, he's got to look at some of that criticism coming constructively, because you want him to do his best. I know
Right.
for me with Andre, I mean, there's been situations I don't heckle him, and I know what it's like. I don't beat him up, but there's situations where I'm like, hey, let's go watch this replay because look what you did here. You could have done this differently. And I think that type of thing is great when you have a dynamic. He can come home to a wife that knows what she's watching when she watches his races and actually can understand and help him look at his mistakes maybe, to better himself.
Versus right. And his argument is always, well, you weren't in the race. Well, I understand that. So now we're out of the race. So let's look at it. And I understand, it's very easy for me to make decisions from the rail because I can see a hole that's closing that you can't. I can see a hole that's opening that you can't. Yeah. But I'm standing on the rail and you're on the back of the horse. So I get that. And I wouldn't want to be him. No way, no how. Not as mad. I mean, no instance in my life would I ever want to put on white pants. No way.
No.
Nope.
I thought I did for a while when I was young and dumb, and then
nope. No. I'd rather sit at the rail and go, do you see what you did? It's easier that way.
I'm like, man, if you would have thrown that cross and done that, and he's looking at me like,
right. Yeah. That's what he always
wants
says.
to put you on. He wants to put you on the horse.
Yeah. That's what he always says. When was the last time you rode a race? I'm like, that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have to ride a race to tell you what you did wrong, man.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have a comment here from Lloyd Green. They say when people came with cameras to Claiborne to see Secretariat, he'd come down by the fence to pose. He knew what they were there for. Absolutely. They know.
Anna does that. Anna's like that.
Racing is laughing at us. Oh, wait, not after Labor Day. I don't know what that is, but she said we were hilarious. What were we talking about after Labor Day? Before Labor Day? I don't remember.
White. I said I don't want to wear white pants.
White pants. Okay.
So speaking of that dynamic, how do you guys get away from horse racing at all?
We don't. There is no getting away. I work 7 days a week. He works 6. We don't, but you know what? I complain and I do, but I chose it. It's the life I chose. I mean, Jerry's fair. I got Christmas. I go home with my family. And if I said, hey, I need to go home tomorrow, he wouldn't be like, no. But I mean, I chose it and it's kind of the spot I'm at. And, if the shoe fits, wear it, I guess.
And
I complain about it. I'm not going to lie. I complain all the time, but there's no point. Just don't listen to me. Yeah.
You have to ask yourself, am I just a glutton for punishment or am I just insane? But then, I brought that up in what we just talked about on the podcast prior to this show that we were filming. I said, it always circles back to the horse. That's what keeps us in it. It's the love for the horse. That's it.
Right.
Who's going to show up with them in the morning if you don't? They rely on you very, very much.
I went home. Jerry let me go home early for Christmas. Xavier hung back, and they shed rode Christmas Eve because it was like 3 degrees. Everything was frozen, and it was like 6:30 in the morning. We were on the phone, and I was like, "How's this? How's that? How's this? How's that?" And he was like, "Oh, you don't even care. You're in bed, and it's cold here." And I was like, "But I do.
I do care." Yep.
It's easier from bed. I can tell you that much. I'd much rather shoot you a text and be like, how so-and-so look, but it's all right. We get it done.
Have you ever thought about going out on your own?
No, and I don't want to.
Why not? Why? What's the definite no there that makes you say I don't want to?
Because I've seen all aspects of the industry through Jerry, and I've seen the things that he has to deal with as far as owners picking races, picking the proper races, owners not agreeing with the spots, or owners wanting to put horses in spots they don't belong in, this, that, and the other. And he always has to run interference. And I mean, I don't want to do that. I mean, we have phenomenal owners. So, I mean, it's not like people don't pay their bills or anything. It's not like that. But I see all these trainers, that have these owners that don't pay and they have to pay out of their pockets. And, it's just, everything falls on the trainer at all times. If I screw up, it falls on Jerry. Everything's on him. And it's, I don't know. I'm just,
that's a lot of pressure.
And you know what? I'm in a great spot right now. I have wonderful horses in the barn. We have great owners. We're having a lot of fun. He's very fair with me at the barn. He's taught me what he wants, how he wants it done, and when he wants it done, and he allows me to do so. And it's a great spot. I'm happy here, and I don't see any reason to step out on my own, because you know what? I love my horses, and I love where I'm at. I really do.
I love that. Dennis C says, I left horse racing 3 years ago in August, and I miss it more and more. Have heard great things about Jessica. Keep killing it, Jess. I go to Florida in April to see family and to talk possibly about getting back in. Horses always pull you back somehow. That's very true. And now coming up, you've got some good. You guys have a few entries. You've got Don't Tell Darren. You've got Miss Antietam. Darren. Excuse me, Darren. Excuse me. And then Young Turk and Miss Antietam. What are you expecting out of those three?
Got to ask them. I don't know. I mean,
Durin.
Yeah, don't tell Durin. That's Erica's husband. So I hope he's not watching. His name's Darren.
Oh, I can't read. I can't read. Don't worry. It's just me.
Okay. You know, the best thing about Jerry is he places the horses correctly. So where they are is where they belong. And as you know, I mean, we always come out guns a-blazing. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I mean, they're all right where they belong.
For sure. You guys are always super tough. I mean, I'd make jokes about you guys chipping in all the time. I always see when I see John Robb on the overnight, I tell Andre, if you're not riding the John Robb horse, you don't want to be in the race.
Oh, stop.
I'm like, because it's just Xavier's just coming in to win. And then you know what? He went to Maryland the other day. I always give him a hard time when he ships up to Maryland, always. And he went up the other day and Xavier won. I don't know what horse he was on. But I had said before he left, I said, the horse you're on is in kind of tough. I said, John Robb's tough. It was a race with Ness was in and you were in and he went up and rode for Greg Vines. But he said, oh, I got a shot. I said, you got a shot. Xavier's probably going to win, but you got a shot. and then Xavier won. And then he came home and I was like, thought you had a shot. And he was like, I did. My filly ran good. I was like, she ran great, but I told you Xavier was going to beat you.
Well, you know what? That's a great problem for us to have. And I'm glad that you are concerned for us in the entries.
I just like to give him a hard time. But I mean, I like to point out good things and people to watch. And he's one of them. You know, I did ask him, he had some questions to ask Xavier one night when he came to the room about, you know, some tips he wanted to ask him. He's like, man, Xavier's just so busy. He's like talking over here, and I try to talk to him, and he's over there talking to this person. He was like, I can't even get him to like sit down. I was
just
like,
grab him. He's always goofing off. Just grab him.
Reunion at Charlestown, he comes in for sure. But Jessica, it's like prying her to the wolves. If she has a horse in at Shepherdstown, she loathes night racing. So.
It's so bad. I'm like, Jerry, are you going? Are you going? Who's going? We get, you know, I get really lucky a lot of times because Jerry's son Donald does a lot of our shipping, so Donald will slap the tack on him for us. So we're like, nice. I mean, I don't mind going, and you know, we like obviously on the big nights we always went, but it's just hard, you know, when you go up there and like you're in a late race and you get home at 2:00 in the morning, and then the alarm goes off at 4, and then I'm more miserable than usual the whole next day. I mean, it's just, it's hard. And you know what? I give serious props to people at Charlestown because I don't know how they do that. Jocks, pony people, all them stay out there till 12:00 at night on these winter days and then are out there first thing in the morning galloping. No, couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Like
the ones running in the night, now they're running 9 races with no post move up. So, you know, the ones running in the ninth, if you're winning or getting called to the test barn, you're not getting out of there till about 2. If you're doing things the right way, you know what I mean?
And I don't know how, I mean, I don't know how they do it. I mean, mad props to those pony people, everybody out there, everybody. I mean, cause it's brutal. It's just crazy town. By the time you lay down, it's time to get up again.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I mean, I'm happy for y'all. Live your best life.
You run on horse fumes and delirium over here.
I'm telling you.
Delirium. Grandma Horse Racing says, love her honesty. Can I ask, is it difficult to compete against stables that are not so clean?
Yeah. I mean, but you know, I mean, they're really trying. Now, listen, I'm not Team Heiza, and we're not even going to get into that. Do not approve. 2 thumbs way down. But, you know, they've always been trying to keep a tight hand on the cheaters per se. And, you know, it is hard. But you know what? It's like that in any sport. And, you know, horse racing just seems to get slapped harder. But I mean, football, baseball, anywhere, you're dealing with it. Somebody somewhere is doing something wrong. So you know what? The fact that we're consistently in the top 5 and we're consistently winning and we're doing it right, let the cheaters cheat, because you know what? We're still coming for you.
And the cheaters will only cheat for so long. There will be eventually where, you know,
Right.
it all comes to the surface. And I mean, I think the reason why horse racing gets a bigger slap for cheating is because it's humans, I guess, essentially doing it to the animal versus humans do it to themselves.
Right. Versus somebody making their own choice. Right.
But
100%.
But with that being said, I mean, I always like to put the truth out there, but there's so many people that do things the right way. You all being one of them, you know, you take care of your horses, you track them, you place them properly. That is really, you know, you can love the sport and still be ethical and still put the horse first and still be successful and still win races. But, you know, all that other stuff that goes in with the ones that do not do things the right way, it always comes to the surface in due time. So, you know, let those people hang themselves and you keep doing what you're doing. That's really all you can control.
Right. We just get up every day and we do the best we can. And most of the time, you know, it pays off. And if not, you know, we'll get it done. Because we've got solid horse flesh. I mean, I've got great horses in my barn and got great horses. I've got great owners. We've got a great team behind us. And I mean, I think Jerry's stats show for that. I mean, he's always involved. He's always in the mix.
But I love that I see more than just the wins from him. I mean, even if I follow on the Facebook page, I'm pretty sure they have a Facebook page for the farm. You know, you can kind of see what they have going on for the breeding operations. I've seen things. I've seen more just about what they do than the wins. So I really love that. You know,
right? It's about full circle. It's everything, right? Yeah.
And that's the best. We have Chelsea Moisey here. She says she loves you.
I love you more. He has the cutest baby goat in the whole world. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I need a baby goat.
Hers wears tutus. It's wonderful.
Stop. When you beat the cheaters, that's the best feeling. Is you can tell them to shove it. Yes, but you know, in a 9-year-old
world, I don't have to tell them to shove it. We just smile in the winner circle.
That's right. That's right. She's the best house goat ever. She says, I need to know about the house goat.
Julie. Oh, it's so cute.
Oh my god. Does it really live in the house? Andre will kill me.
Yes.
Next time.
Oh yeah. In the house, on the couch.
Does it wear a diaper?
Yes. And it's so cute.
Oh my gosh, Chelsea, we need to be friends. I need to see this goat.
Next time we have Chelsea on. We've had Chelsea on.
Yeah, we've had
Chelsea on. We're going to ask her. Plus, she's going to be in Delaware in the summer, and I'm going to visit her in Delaware. So,
when you visit her in Delaware, swing by my shed road too, Barn 39. Team Robb.
Definitely. Oh look, let's see. John tries to kill me, but he's not big enough.
Neither is the goat. It's fine. It works out.
Well,
Jumpy knows better.
You've been just a delight. I loved having you on. Thank you for coming on. I know you were nervous. You see, it wasn't that bad, right?
It was. But
you were here for 50 minutes.
I have one more question though, and then we'll end.
Okay, go ahead.
What do you think of Heiza? No, I'm just kidding.
No, you guys are
10
great.
out of 10. Do not recommend.
we love Xavier here. We love what you've got going on with John Robb. We love you. I personally love you just for everything you did to help me with Ben, and not even just Ben on the horse we rescued. That's his name, Ben, for those who don't know. But just that you're not afraid to speak up for the truth, and that you can love the sport, be successful, and love the horse first. Anybody that's watching, you know, I'm just saying. You can do that and still be an advocate for racing. We're not taking anything away from the sport by saying do the right thing.
Right. No, you're 100% correct. And you know what? I mean, there's a lot of me's and you's out there. It's just the problem is the handful of bad apples is what comes to light first. And
absolutely,
it is what it is. So that's why, you know, we just all need to kind of step up and try to outshine them when we can.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same as, you know, your nightly news too. Everybody wants to interview the bad people or highlight the bad people. That's not what we're here about. We get criticism because we don't bring those people on and ask them the tough questions. That's not what we're about.
Why would you want to?
Yeah, it's not what we're about.
We have gotten that. I said there's other entities that can shed light on the issues you guys might want to do. That's like not what we're doing here, you know?
Right.
But well, thanks for coming on. And we've got lots of thank yous here. Jordan Park says great interview. Grandma Horse Racing says, thank you, HRT team, another person in this industry who won me over. And let's see, Lloyd Green. Thanks for coming on, Jessica. So thank you for staying up with us, and thank you for coming on. And we will be watching, and we will be cheering you on and hoping to see all the good things coming from the Robb Barn. Xavier, we're always watching you. And yeah, I'm sure we'll have both of you guys on in the future. Maybe we'll do like a date night session. Dinner.
That could be messy. If you're going to do that, you got to bring on Chelsea and John P. too, and the goat.
So it could be Chelsea, John P, Jessica, Xavier, me, Andre, and then we'll get one more, great duo to just
the goat. Bring the goat.
Oh, okay, we're bringing the goat.
Bring the goat.
Okay. All right, girly. Well, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk again soon.
You got it. Good night, y'all.
All right. Good night.
Thank you.
All right. Yay. That was awesome. Well, what a great show. She's amazing. I just love her love for the sport. And, she's an asset to have in the barn. She's good. She's good at what she does. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And see, that's the thing. We highlight the positive and, that we want people to see the good people, not the bad people.
It's people that matter too. I like highlighting not just the trainers and the jockeys. I think it's really cool that we can bring on some of the assistants and the real hands-on workers too. So that's awesome. Right. Oh, look, Grandma Horse Racing said, Sean, you're the third wheel.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, do you want to tell people what we got coming up tomorrow?
So tomorrow, our guest will be jockey Jason Hyas. He's been running at Parks. He's been running the NYRA. He used to be an exercise rider, and he's now a jockey. So we'll find out about that journey and all about being an apprentice. And he's winning pretty well, too.
And then what do we have on the schedule for next week?
Next week, we have Grace McEntee, a jockey that came over from England. Money wasn't good over there, so she came over with her boyfriend, Tyler Hurd. So she'll be on Monday. JD Acosta will be on Tuesday, jockey JD Acosta. And then Wednesday, we have jockey agent Jose Santos on.
That'll be great. It'll be another great week. All right. Well, I think that takes us wire to wire tonight. You want to touch on anything else before we go?
Well, tomorrow, Daily Show again at noon. I believe it'll be Gulfstream, but that will be on at noon. And then Thursday, they'll be back as well, noon. And I don't know what they're doing Thursday. Maybe Aqueduct if they're running.
Okay.
And then we also got Picks with the Professor. College basketball tournament playing games starting today, but gets really rolling Thursday and Friday. So you want to check out pickswiththeprofessor.com at Professor Sides. And he's got a YouTube as well, Professor Sides. So Picks with the Professor. So definitely check that out.
All right. Yep. Check that out. And as always, if you're not following us on socials, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Drop us a comment. Show us some love. We love talking to you guys. And we'll see everybody else in the
Winner Circle.